Hello, 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 everybody, and happy Friday. The weekend is here, and it's time for another episode of He Said. I'm Alvin King, and I am so happy to be with you guys today. Um, I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but we got tricked last week with the weather. I mean, it has been freezing this week, and it kind of caught me off guard. But this is Washington D.C. where I live, so I should be used to it. But it has definitely caught me off guard. Look, we have an action-packed show for you today. As many of you have seen, our topic tonight is to date or not to date. But before we jump into all of that, and I bring on my co-host, I got something that I just want to share with you guys. So I want you to hear what I'm about to say. For anybody who have been worthy or eligible enough to get a stimulus check, I am saying that I am so happy that relief is coming because a lot of people have been suffering and needing this money to continue their businesses and pay their bills, etc. But I am so happy that that funding is coming. But I want you to know this: not one Republican on the Senate approved you all to have that money. I want you to remember that. Not one of them thought that you were worthy enough to have that money. So that being said, that's my soapbox moment for right now. But I just needed you to know that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our co-hosts, Mr. Jacques Whitfield and Mr. Vash tonight. How you guys doing?
Hey,
Hey everybody.
Happy Friday.
Hey, Alvin. Yeah, happy Friday.
How you guys
Hey,
doing?
Doing great. And for the record, my kids got their stimulus money, and so I'm really happy. It's like hitting lotto at my family because everybody's all good. And if they have money, that means they don't have to ask dad. So I'm doing really good for Friday.
I'm doing well too.
Because a lot of people, need that. I'm sorry, Jacques. I'm Vash. I'm sorry. I responding to Jacques. I'm sorry. What did you say?
No, that's good. I was just saying I was too. I'm doing great too.
So I love the image because I feel like we're like your backup singer. So we're Destiny's Child, and you could be the chocolate Beyonce, and that me and Bosch would be like Kelly and Michelle. With the T-shirt action that we got going on. Bosch, I love your T-shirt. What are you rocking today?
Just another shirt that I bedazzled from out in Fairfax, California, visiting a friend. Found the shirt.
Yeah, let us see.
It's basically on theme since our, what we're talking about tonight. Someone like open to the heavens to see what's coming at their way. Right on.
Love it.
Love it. If anybody wants to know more about Vash's T-shirt collection, please go to our IG page at He Said Live, or you can send him a note directly at He Said Live at gmail.com. So please, and I also got a comment on Jacques' shirt, because when we came on behind the scenes, I was saying I was going to wear black and white tonight, and that print is happening tonight. So I got to give you kudos on that.
Thank you.
Brother. So I do.
Thank you. So I got this at Piccadilly Circus in London a couple years ago when my son was studying abroad, and me and my other sons went out there and hung out for spring break for 10 days. And I saw it in a window and had to have it. Right.
I am completely feeling it. And as you all can see behind me, because I got so much flack. Well, I got kudos for having a blank wall last week, but the powers that be said you need to put some images on your wall. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been decorated. So voila! Thank you for the kudos, Jacques. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, look,
great.
And my imagery is coming. I'm just floating around. I'm in North Carolina this week, so we get what we get here. So we're working on that.
Well, look,
you both look great in my eyes. So.
Actually, it kind of. Thank you. In the news this week, that I think I want to talk about, guys. Is the story with Kurt Franklin's son Kirion, who taped a conversation between the two of them this week on the phone, and he decided to put the piece public or make it public.
Yeah, the family business.
For those of you who haven't seen the clip, it was, you know, Kurt Franklin really swearing and really going in on his son, and I'm saying going in, and it was something that most people seem to be shocked about because it was Kurt Franklin, and he is, you know, gospel royalty, and I want to talk about that tonight because Vash, Jacques, being a dad and having one of your kids speak to you, you know, we all got family stuff, but I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about this before the show. I would be happy to share my opinion. However, caveat. So I listened to the recordings, and then I listened to the response of Kurt Franklin and his wife with Tamron Hall. I have you know what, guys, I have a lot of opinion. And so here are all the caveats, right? So not only am I a father, you know, my brother's in ministry, my brother's a pastor, my mother's in ministry. So as a PK, there are a lot of perspectives, and also as a human being. And this was a really human moment. And I'll tell you, Alvin, so my problem wasn't necessarily with the human moments, because we all have human moments. I think my problem for me was the choreographed response afterwards, because I've been in those situations where I've had human moments with my kids, and one immediately comes to mind when my son was my youngest son in elementary school, very, very adventurous, and decided to skateboard on the rooftop of a school, elementary school. Cops were called. I literally ran down with the school, and I acted the natural born fool. Listen, if somebody had caught me on tape, I would be on TMZ. I would be on all the things. They would have called me into my job because I just let my son have it. And here's my opinion. I did not want my son to be a statistic. And I was so moved by that experience. I didn't care. I didn't give a you know what. I talked crazy to the police. I talked crazy to my son. My son was with 2 Caucasian children, and I reminded him, don't let his light skin confuse him with white skin, that he is not white and he can't do the same thing that white kids could do. And I'm sure if all of that were captured on tape and presented, it would have put me in a bad light. And my response would have been, in the words of Nene Leakes, I said what I said.
Yes. Okay.
And that's my truth.
I mean,
and what bothered me, and if I can just
in sharing that,
go
ahead, because in sharing that.
What bothered me was the whole choreographed response of. Yeah, exactly. But what was artificial to me was the choreographed response of him and the wife, who is not the mother of that child. And, you know, how they're, you know, praying and believing and all of this stuff, which sounds great to the constituency. And again, full disclosure, even though I come, you know, I have strong religious background, I am spiritual. I am not religious. And I am adamantly about being not religious. And I just felt that for him, in terms of spin, it probably spoke to his base. I don't think it spoke to anyone else. It certainly didn't speak to other non-religious, particularly people who were not embracing transatlantic white Christianity, evangelical spin, because it was just like, it did, none of it landed on me. Absolutely none of it in terms of the response.
Okay, so you had the problem. So you had a problem with the delivery, the response to what happened. Is what
absolutely
you're saying. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Vash, anything you want to comment on?
It is difficult to be a parent. It is difficult to be a good parent. Watching my peers raise children, I see that some of their children are going to turn out that way because there is not that sense of follow through, commitment with parents to their children. Lots of lessons to be learned from this Kirk Franklin thing. And one is to be a good parent early to your child. The other thing is, as Jacques was saying, you're a parent, you're raising a kid. That child was pushing his parents' buttons in order to raise his temperature, to collect this data, to cash in on it. I want to look at it from that sense. He knew what he was doing to his dad. Anybody is going to go off. And I just wonder, because, I say this, I'm not really a religious person. Can't you love Jesus and cuss? I mean, that's my question. Like, why is it such a strange thing for someone to use certain language?
Yes, you can. Well, and that's the problem that I have with all this. Hold on, I can't come. I want to say hello to. We have a whole bunch of listeners on here. Annette, Robert, Derwin, Don, Bobby. How are you guys doing? Thank you guys for joining us tonight. But on my opinion on this is somewhat of what you both have said. He is human, and just because he's a man of the cloth or in the gospel, that he can't be human and deal with things that are going on in his household in a personal way. His son chose to throw that information out there. Now, Kurt's response to me, Kurt is a public figure. And so, he has to respond in a number of different ways. But one of the ways that I thought that he was being, and I'm not a parent, but I have parented some children, and you can't always determine. You can be the best person in the world, and the child comes out being who she is. And so I just look at it like, it was something that shouldn't have happened, especially from a 33-year-old man, or 32. He'll be 33 soon. That I thought that he should have handled that differently. That's my opinion. He should not have put that out there like that. And because he did, damage control on so many levels has to be done.
Okay. Yeah, what was interesting to me, Alvin, just from listening to the rhythm, and I'd love your opinion on this too, Vash, the rhythm and the exchange between the two, it sounded like that this was a regular rhythm of communication between the two of them. And so so Alvin, that's why I had a problem with the response, because the response made it sound like that this was an aberration or even though they did acknowledge that there'd been, the son is 30, in his early 30s. They've had like 20 years of history of turbulent relationship.
He's 32.
And it just sounded, there were so many things that could have been done differently. And again, I know when I've been in the space of being human with my kids, how I have responded is I've owned the human moment, and I haven't, of course, I'm not a public figure, but I mean, even if if we play the what if game, and if, they said, hey, and I'm sure the police had me on the, because SAC PD has the camcorders now, and I'm sure I was on tape, but I would have just been like, hey, I said what I said because I don't want my son to be a statistic, and I would rather you guys shoot me or tase me than do something harmful to my son.
It comes down to owning who you are and what you do. I mean, he did it, and I agree with you, Jacques. He's a parent. If this is the way that their life is and they're communicating, he just has to say, this is the way it is, y'all. And sorry, but and maybe everything would evolve a little bit if everyone's more honest with who they are instead of who they think they're supposed to be.
And it goes back to what you were asking earlier, Vash.
In the response, though, Kurt he owned up to it. He came across, he said, I'm normal. These things are happening. And so whether it was rehearsed or not, I think that he had an obligation to at least give his side of the story.
Yes.
Not saying that Kurt was
He didn't fully own it. He put a spin on it. He did. He put the Christian spin on it.
I don't.
Yeah, in my opinion, and it goes.
He had the interview he had with his wife on that I've seen with Tamarin. He owned it. He said, "I did it, and I did it, and that's what goes on in our house. And I'm human, but also I'm his father."
Yes, exactly. He did. Yeah. He said all of that. And he said, I want to be better, which I agree. Everyone should want to be better, handling the situations better. I think he definitely did let us know, he's going to do better, because I appreciate that for his followers if he wants them.
Yeah. And Vash, you asked an important question, and it was a rhetorical question. I understand. You said, can Christians cuss? My answer is absolutely, because they do. They're human. They're human. And I think this is what, and again, I'm coming from my specific lens, and I acknowledge that I've seen so much spin in my life.
Yes.
From my perspective. And I said, why don't you just tell the freaking truth? Tell the freaking truth. It's much easier as opposed to putting the godly spin on it. I said what I said. This man pissed me off. And so we've been at it. We've been at each other's throats for decades. So this isn't anything new. But then, and that's why I was just like, you know what? It's spin. It speaks to your core constituents. It doesn't speak to anyone else. And I think, and Alvin, I mean, you're very media savvy, and that there's now, it's formulaic whenever celebrities, people in the public eye get caught. Yes. There's a formula you got to follow, the formula to repentance, the formula to whatever it is. They follow the formula. They're going to be fine. They're going to cry in public. And, and I'm just like, it was disingenuous to me personally.
Let's look at some of the speakers have asked some questions. So we got to move on to our topic, and we got to keep the ball rolling. But Anthony Orion from North Carolina said Kurt may have owned it, but was it sincere? And he says that he's not sure about that. Brandy said, and they've been having trouble for a while. Let me see what other responses do we have. Brandy says there's also more to the story. Blue says, Kurt said that this arguing was normal. If it was normal, then why allow it? Why allow the son to take you there? Again, how can you just not know all those things? And we're going to thank you all for coming in here and having this conversation with us. But we definitely have a show to go on. But as you can see, this is very important to a lot of people, because, not only because Kurt Franklin is a celebrity, but because he is a human being. And he was having a moment where he was being human, and the world is looking at him like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to act that way.
Look, Kirk Franklin is notorious for hiring a choir, making an album, winning awards. When the choir asks for more money, he kicks them out and finds another choir. So as someone as shrewd of a business person, I mean, that's a shrewd business
that gets
person.
To be another show. But no, I agree with Vash.
That's what Vash said. And you all can agree all day, but that's another story that is not in this circle of conversation because we have no proof. We do have a proof of a leaked tape. So we're going to move on to our topic for tonight, which is today or not today, everybody. Thank you for joining us. As you all know, dating is, they say, some people say some things never change. Well, we definitely cannot say that about dating, especially now. So, we want to have a conversation tonight about that. And you guys, chime in and give us, any comments and feedback that you want to give us. But the first question that I'm just going to throw out to my panel members is, okay, let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
What makes you want to take somebody on a date? Is it the
wow, that's a loaded question.
Is it the way they sound? Is it a combination? So, I mean, with this whole thing about social media, it's all about how they look. I'm the kind of person where I can look at you, but I need to talk to you. Okay, I need to see you because I have that power of discernment in me. I own it, so I need to hear what you have to say. So. But in this world of dating right now, is what makes you want to take someone on a date?
Okay, I have a quick question. What are we calling a date? Can we define?
What are you calling a date?
Yes.
Are we having sex or not having sex?
Well, because there's some that only involve.
That is another question. That's up to you when you get to the date.
Okay.
Because dates can go in a number of ways. But to Vash's question, what is a date? A date can be, first of all, you determine whether or not it's a date. That is up to you. Okay? That is
Okay.
up to you to determine if it's a date. And so I think for the sake of this story, of this conversation, I'm thinking that a date is somebody you want to spend time with, perhaps with the auspices of something being more, of you spending more time.
A romantic liaison that you want to build upon and do more. Okay. Vash, you go first, and then I'll go after you.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the romantic yet. I just met you. Ain't nothing romantic going on.
Well, there's clearly an interest. There's an interest
beyond just sex.
Okay.
Are we gonna?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Again,
yes.
I want to. I'm gonna ask you all this question one time, and then we're gonna move on. What at the beginning of what makes you want to take someone on a date? Is it the way they look? Is it the way they smell? Is it a combination of all that? Is it what is it? What is it?
So I'll go first. So I've changed. Initially, it was all about looks when I was younger, and I realized that I had a type or a couple types, and I realized that only served me to a certain point in my life. Now at 57 years old, what's hot to me is intelligence. Looks are great. However, if we don't have conversation, if you don't have the vocabulary to stimulate me, if there's more, I need more. I need to be stimulated in my mind. And my greatest sexual organ is between my ears. And so for me, I need intellectual stimulation. I need to know, and again, intellectual stimulation and energy, because I'm a big energy person now. Now, when I was younger, I wasn't. When I was younger, it was all about the looks. You had to be formulaic. Now, at 57 years old, what's really important to me is energy, intellect, conversation.
So that means that you're a sapiosexual, because I'm a sapiosexual. I have to be intellectually stimulated by someone before I even want to take them on a date. Before I would want to, I am truly a sapiosexual. So
generally, yes. However, I'm also human. So I'm going to play the Kurt Franklin human card. But by and large, yes, I am. No, by and large, Alvin, you're correct. I am. But I do have those moments that, damn, he fine. And so, yeah. But what keeps me connected.
I am not going to say it if I don't believe it. Okay? Just know that. I'm not going to say it. Look, you said it. I just called it out. Okay? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For me, it's looks. I have tried going out with people who I felt were great conversationalists and whatnot, but for me, it's looks. Like, I have to be into you. Like, looking at you has to make me want to get up and make you breakfast, put on some booty shorts and clean the bathroom. Like, for me, it's looks.
Cool. So do you have a type? Do you have a type, Vash?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. We'll go into that.
Right, I do. I think I do.
Well, he did.
I think it's morphing, though. As I get older, I think it's morphing.
He has to be cute. He said he has a type. His type is cute. He said he has to be cute. So, to that, and I'm just going to ask these like random questions. Could you date a stripper or someone who's in that realm of could you, or let's say even a porn star? Could you date a stripper or porn star?
I have. Yes. Yeah.
You have?
Duh.
Okay.
Like, haven't we all?
Yeah. Right. I mean,
whether you knew it or not, haven't we all?
Okay. No.
Yeah, I have.
About someone who it is their profession. It is their job. They have achieved notoriety. Hold on from that. So I'm asking, could you? Yeah, someone who's in that arena. So yeah. And yeah. Okay. So Jacques,
yes, I can, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why, Alvin. Because I can separate professional life from personal life. I've been with a cop. I've been with someone in public safety. So what's, even though, because
they both do good work with clubs. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, but now that you mention it, yeah. No, but of course, Because
Okay.
I'm not going to place a value judgment on what someone, because I've dated lawyers or, people, high net worth individuals who did not have the moral character. And then I've dated someone who may have been in the adult industry who was highly integrous, who was highly honest. And it's just what they did. So why am I going to judge you for what you did?
What about you, Alvin?
At 57, this is me.
No, hold on. Let me say this right now to everybody. That question was not to make anyone say anything that was explicit. We're not going there. No. So no. I'm saying it because I want to make sure that our viewers who are responding, because they got some comments. But I just want to make sure that we weren't going there. It was just a question of, basically to see, could you date someone that you may or may not question who or what she does? You know what I'm saying? So what are like deal breakers for you when you go on a date with somebody, when you finally get to that place where you just want to go on a date with them? What are things that bother you? For me, I definitely look at people who are rude to to
servers,
waiters or waitresses or servers. I have a problem with that. Once we get there, that's one of my deal breakers. Okay.
Yes. How about you? I would agree with you. Yeah. So that one, dishonesty, lack of integrity. That's inauthenticity. Vash, is that do my spell check? Did I get that right? Yes. Inauthentic people. And for me, and again, in my bubble, where so many people judge you based, you have to pick a thing, like if you date online and you go on the apps, so like, okay, no femmes, no pats, no this, no that. If you're that person, I'm eliminating you entirely, because for me, for who I value authenticity. Yeah. So for me, I've grown, because when I was younger, it was very much, and again, when I was younger, I was in a lot of different spaces, but clearly I'm in the most authentic space I've been in my life at 57. And for me, it's authenticity.
Authenticity is sexy.
Totally. Absolutely.
Well,
and so I've dated can I just say this? I've dated I'm a professional sports player, blah, 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 blah.
If you have to ask, you may not. Okay. Okay, you have to ask. You may want to not say it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I've dated, it's like, oh my God, this is like the dream person. But nah, because they're not authentic, they're not themselves. And you go through a whole bunch of head trips just to be in the photo op. And, again, maybe in 20 something, 30 something, that was a thing. But at 50 something, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not. I don't even have the space, the intellectual space, the emotional space to even go there. So no, I wouldn't do it.
So okay. So you meet someone online. Because these days we're not meeting everybody in grocery stores, where we're not meeting them in gas stations. We're not doing all that. We're not walking down the street. Some of us are, but say you meet somebody online and you're talking, you look at all these pictures because they're putting their best pictures out there, and all of a sudden you set up this first date and the person does not look like what he or she said she is supposed to, or what she's claiming to be on those pictures. How do you react to that? And you're already at the restaurant. How do you react to that?
I've left restaurants before, because again, that's a sign of a lack of integrity, a lack of honesty, and a lack of inauthenticity. If you're sending pictures that are 10, 15 years old and you were 30 pounds lighter and now I'm like, and again, I'm giving you my best me, so I want to see your best you. So the catfish thing, that's a deal breaker for me. And what I do is I say, and I'm very artful and very polite in the way I say it, because I don't want to hurt the person's feelings. But it's like, well, you presented a different image of who you were. So if you could bring that person back, that would be great. But dude, what am I supposed to do? Right.
Right.
Well, Dwayne from North Carolina said, well, what about FaceTiming? Because if you FaceTime people, again, I have been in situations where I have FaceTimed someone, and when they got there, I don't know what other people do on FaceTime, but when I first meet you, I'm not trying to get all the full shebang. I'm really trying to feel if you're being authentic. Are you telling me the truth? Where you're going with that. So FaceTime does work. However, people have also pulled some stunts and showed up, and they haven't been who they were supposed to be. So me personally, I will walk away. I will be rude. I'm sorry. My time is precious to me. And at 62 years old, looking like this, it takes a lot to get up and go out and be with you because you want to be with me. And so when I get there, if you're not looking the way you're supposed to look, Alvin King is going to let you know it's an epic fail, and I'm out. I'm out. That's me. Because you pulled the stunt. Yeah. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Bob. You were going to say something.
No, I was going to say, I am more likely to be polite and stick around, especially if we're having dinner, because, I'm probably showing up hungry. But I would sort of, at that point, see what was going on and let, and see who the person was, but definitely let them know that what they did was not cool. And that they should have a lot more confidence, because what did I say last week? No matter who you are, no matter what you look like, you're going to tickle somebody somewhere. So just be that person. So if I can help them with that, I would consider it a good night.
You cannot tickle me. Hold on. Hey, Bo, hey, Kenny. Hey, Monica. We have some people, again, Anthony, Monica, there's Rose. Hey, Rose. Rose. Okay, Rose. Thank you, Rose. There's Annette's on the phone. Kay is on the phone. Look at me saying on the phone, online, listening to us. Okay, I'm saying you're on the phone. See, okay. So look,
get off Jacked and Grindr right
now. So how do you guys feel about dating? Multiple people at one time. Is that, can you do that?
I think it's essential.
My answer, I think it's essential. I think it's essential until you, figure out where you want to go. I don't see where you need to. I wouldn't cut off going out on dates and whatnot, even though I may have my interest in one or two people.
Right.
I still will do it until I've decided I'm going to commit and not do that anymore. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you, Alvin.
Because So, but I have seen people who are, what am I trying to say? They love to date so much. That's their thing. Now, where I'm going with this, ladies and gentlemen, is you're dating someone who loves to date and they have no intent on committing, and you're falling for this person. How do you know, while you're sitting there going through this, if you have a diamond or a dud? How do you know? Because, hey, look, people who don't want to commit, these people, they're good. They're good. They will date you until they can't date you no more. And then tell you.
Well, this is why I asked the question earlier, like, what are we considering dating? If dating is getting to know someone to then take it to the next level, which would be some other term other than dating, that's one thing. But if dating is getting everything as part of that whole experience, then why not date continuously and forever?
And don't you think, Vash and Alvin?
Because Kay said she gets confused. She said she might get confused.
So I think a way to deal with Kay's confusion, and Alvin and Vash, what do you guys think about this? I think it's important. Again, we talked about the importance of being authentic, the importance of communicating like an adult. So if you let someone know, like in the space I'm in right now, all of you know, I have an ex-wife, I have an ex-husband. I am happily divorced from both. They are both my best friends. I have been engaged. I am now not engaged. And in the space that Jacques is in right now, I'm happy just being me and being by myself. And I'm open to dating, meaning casual, but I'm not looking to be in another committed relationship right now. And so I think if you say that at the outset and then you know that, then that's fine. Then I get to be put in this category. And so I'm letting the other person know so that if they get to the point where they're at a point where they have an option between me and somebody else, and that other person wants to be more serious, then I take myself out of the equation. I don't want to hold anyone up, because in my younger years, I've certainly done that, trying to hedge bets and not being honest, not being authentic, and it hasn't served me. So where I am now, I find it's just better just to be honest and just say, hey, here's who I am. That could change, but right now, I just want to just be casual and be light. So if you want anything heavy, then you get to go to somebody else, because I'm not the person for you. And I think if you communicate at the outset, then Alvin and Vash, you wouldn't have these problems, would you?
Well, that separates you from the question or the person that I was talking about. Someone, you are upfront about it. You are upfront, and so that I would have a heck of a lot more respect for you if you said that up front. Hey, I'm going on this date, and no strings. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really looking. Those are questions. Those are things that's going to be my next question. Those are things that you say up front, and I appreciate you. I really appreciate you for being that type of person. Yeah.
But that's a lot to throw. I mean, I'm assuming you would do that after dating for a while, as opposed to, hi, my name is Jacques, and I ain't looking for nobody. So if you want somebody, you can keep. I mean, like. So
you know what? So don't go to my Jack profile, and it will say, "Here's where I am."
Well, that's different. That's like, I mean, that's almost walking around with a billboard versus meeting someone having a convo.
Yeah, but it just, I think, because I've been. Number one, I've been dishonest in my past.
Okay.
I have been the recipient of dishonesty, because I believe I created that. Sure. So in this space that I'm in right now, on my first day, I disclose it all. I say ex-wife, ex-husband, 4 kids, HIV positive, and say, now, if all of this is too much, I'll buy your first round of drinks and have a great night. Typically what happens, the disclosure, people are like, oh no, wow, that's so great. And I gotta switch up because that keeps them all there. And I'm like expecting them to go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's too much, I gotta go. But that's not what my experience has been. And also say, hey, I'm busy, I'm flying, I literally bi-coastal, literally like you, Vash, taking care of my mom, going back and forth. And it's still, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, maybe I should be one of the callers.
That takes me to my next question, because dating now, especially we're getting ready to have a post-pandemic dating. What exactly do you disclose on your first date? You know what I'm saying right now? And I've had this conversation with many of my friends in terms of what you disclose. I mean, first and foremost, right now, have you gotten a COVID shot? You know what I'm saying? Have you gotten the COVID vaccine? There are questions like that. I have to be very subtle with asking people, but I'm going to ask you everything that I want to know in that first conversation. And I'm going to disclose things about myself. I don't think holding back, as Vash said, as Jacques said, is a good thing. So people have to, disclose more now than they've ever had to disclose. And I don't think they're going to be comfortable with it, because some people just, they can't face the truth.
So aside from whether or not you've had a vaccine or not, or whether you've had COVID or not, what else are you talking about having to disclose?
My HIV status, I disclose that. Whether I've been married before, my kids, I disclose it all.
Yeah. I mean, Alvin. Well, we got your laundry list. I know whether or not I want to date you, whether or not I want to refer you to somebody I want to date. I got you.
No,
Alvin, what's going on?
It's the same as Jacques. I'm going to ask you all of those questions. Let's talk about HIV status. Let's talk about things that what are you looking for? What type of guy are you looking for? It's going to be all those things. I'm not on Jack, so no judgment to to what Jacques said. I'm not on any type of, anything that I can't talk about to somebody as Jacques did. But me, it's really about medical, stuff like that people tend to brush under the carpet until you get, you go on 2 or 3 days and then you get home and you're getting ready to, have a drink and things may lead to something else. But no, I think those questions have to be asked up front. If you think the relationship is going to go someplace else, hold on. Alvin said, I don't want all that on the first date. Can we just talk about what we want to eat, drink, and do like Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yes. I hear you. I hear you.
You don't want to do that all on the first day. No, I hear you, but I think, and I totally agree with Alma. I want to be in that space where we do that, but to a large degree, it just depends on who you date. I think it's all that piece is all subjective because it's not a one size fit all situation. You know what I'm saying?
For me, right now, the thing I'm going to have to divulge to someone when we start dating after this pandemic is that I have grown accustomed to laying on my back with a bowl of food on my stomach and shoveling it into my face, and I am extremely flatulent. You have to be able to deal with those two things post-pandemic.
Well, and I mean, that's a little piece of it because I'm a workaholic. So those are things that I would try to divulge to somebody. But, until they're like in my circle and seeing me work, for me to tell them that I'm a workaholic, the first thing they may think is that you may not have time for me.
But Alvin, I think but you bring up a really good point. You bring up a really good point because we are all three of us are very busy professionally. And I know, again, the trap that I have created for myself. You tell people what you do, they get the headlines, but I want someone to appreciate the fine print. So for example, in terms of my rhythm of texting back or calling back, I may literally not have time. And it's not that, it's not that I am avoiding you or ignoring you. It's like I am working for 14 hours straight. And then I just need time for myself. And as soon as I, get that grounding space, yes, I can call you back, but I'm not in a position that I can just text you or FaceTime you throughout the day. That's not the type of job that I have. And I know, Alvin, you and Vash are in the same space. So for me, that is important because I've been accused of, oh my God, why are you ignoring me? Why are you not calling me back? And I'm like, whoa, dude, where did that come from?
Well, anybody? Yeah. You make time for the people that are important to you. And if you found someone, when people find someone that they are goo gaga in love with, or that tickles them in that special way, they find time. In the middle of a training session, you're like, hold on, y'all. Hey, boo.
That's true. But when I first meet you, I'm not there yet. So I want to manage those expectations and make it really, really clear that I got 2 full-time jobs. So I get to you when I get to you. And so again, because I want the other person to know, like, look, if you need that instant feedback, then I'm not the person. Then move to, bachelor number 2, because I'm not it. And I'm okay with that.
And see,
that part.
I live under the auspice. I'm going to do whatever I did to get you, to keep you. So if I'm coming to you,
that's fair.
It's fair. I'm going to do that, and that's really, in my opinion, meeting someone where they are. Now, some people say, like Alma just said, she just want to eat and have. Well, you can't just eat and then all of a sudden, okay, you can do all that, but you got to have some kind of discussion and where you're going. And to Alma's point or question, what she just said, because we got like 4 minutes to do this. Who should pay for the first date? Who
I always
should
pay.
It be Dutch? Okay. Should it be Dutch? I think the first date should be Dutch. Because that's just what I prefer. Now, if someone wants to push it, I may give in And if I decide to take someone out on a date for the first time and decide to pay, they know before we go.
I come prepared to pay. And, you know, if I'm pleasantly surprised, I'm pleasantly surprised. And because in my space, it's just, you know, I'm dating another guy who's probably at my level-ish. So I'm like, I'll pay. It's okay. It's cool. And you get it the next time or something like that. You know, so
Well, Keith,
I personally think
Keith from New.
I think it's whoever asks the person out should pay. If I ask someone out, I expect to pay. If they ask me out, which is lovely, I would expect them to pay. The question is what happens on the next date. And that's how I also determine whether or not this person is for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's from two people. Brandy and Keith said, the person who extends the invite. And Brandy said, whoever asks. Well, okay, if you're looking at this, okay, it's the first time and you see Alvin, just know, okay, but you know, I said in the words
Alvin's going Dutch.
Alvin says, bring a brown bag.
Right.
And it ain't, and you know, there's no shame to my game, you know, but that's what I like, and I'm not ashamed of it. So look, we got 2 minutes before we have to end this segment, guys. First of all, thanks to all of you who have been giving your opinions and everything on dating. There's so much that we can talk about in this topic that we could probably have an hour and a half segment. But before we go out, real quick, I have one last question that I want to ask you guys. That if you could put it out real quick in these 2 minutes, what do you think dating is going to be like for people in general after this pandemic allows us to go back out and open ourselves up?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So I think if you've ever seen the movie Caligula, like once the country and once the world is truly open, I think it's going to be insane.
I know, with everybody all fat and sassy, not having body shaming. Everyone's like, come on.
I think it's going to be anything goes, man. I really do. We're already seeing that now, quite frankly.
I think people are going to be ready to get out. And I think that people's attitudes about dating, people will be nicer, you know. And Brandy said it depends on your age. Well, I don't know about that, Brandy, because again, that's another talk show. I wish Brandy had said that earlier. But the whole age thing, I tend not to go there. But it's going to be scary. But hopefully people have learned enough about loving people and being kind to people and being honest with people during this last 12 months that it will serve them well when they decide to go on their first date.
I certainly hope
we are allowed to do that. Yeah.
I have a feeling that people are going to be a lot more comfortable being by themselves. I think that as, you know, this quarantining has put some people in a place where they, you know, have realized that dating is something special as opposed to a necessity to some goal of supposedly being hooked up. So
I think you're right.
Yeah.
On the bell curve, I think you're going to have some people who don't want to go at all. Yeah. You're going to have some people that will just be humping everything that moves. And then there's going to be someone in the middle that's trying to try to find a balance.
I'm hoping that people are more operating in awareness, you know.
I think so.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks to the show hasn't ended, but this portion of the show has, and thank you all for joining us on To Date or Not To Date. We really thank you, because your comments, we're gonna have to read over them because some of you we might have to answer ourselves. Okay. Keith, I love that, Alvin. Kind, honest, etc. with each other. You're welcome, Keith. Well, we told everybody last week that in honor of National Women's Month, that we are going to salute women that in certain genres. And last week was music. And tonight, the women that we're going to salute or recognize are in film. So if we are ready, Jacques, it is yours. It is you are the guys who's gonna kick us off.
So for me, Okay, so I'll start off again. So for my actress is
Oh, wait a minute. No,
I
it's
think
Vash then. Okay,
it's
Vash.
Vash. Okay.
Norman, keep her right there, because the person that I want to talk about, who I think is excellent and just gets so much love from me, is the incomparable Lena Horn. Now, Lena was born in 1917, and she first got her first taste in entertainment when she was 16. She joined the chorus at the Cotton Club. And then she moved to Hollywood, where she was going to become a star. And she's a singer, an actress, a dancer, all-around performer. Now, what I love so much about Lena Horn, it gets down to just character, aside from the power that she presents on stage. If you've not listened to or watched The Lady and Her Music, for which she won a very special Tony, Lena talks about stories of what it was like growing up and going to Hollywood. And one story that she talks about was how when she was going into film, which back then they would have to edit films to take out Black actors because some places in the South wouldn't even play the movies. She talked about how MGM was trying to figure out what to do with her because she's this really light woman. And they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make you a Latin. And she said she thought about it. She was like, my mom is Black, my daddy's Black. She goes, I'm Black. So she goes, so let's just stick with that program. We're going to keep me Black. And that to me is just so fantastic and amazing that as a pioneering person who could have left their ethnicity behind, she was like, nope, this is who I am. And we're going to make and break doors down, break glass ceilings, and be who she is. So I love Lena Horn for just all the civil rights work that she does or did, and for the type of performer she was. And we're going to have a link to one of her performances on our Facebook page. So please check that out right after the show. Lena Horn.
Thank you, Lena Horn. Right, that's right. The lady, the legend,
yes,
Lena Horn.
Love her.
Thank you, Vash. So our next person, it is Vash. And it is Vash.
I think you want Jacques to go. I just talked about Lena.
The other Vash, I'll go.
the other Vash. Okay.
The other Vash. Yeah, so, I'm the other. I'm the other real me. Yes, the Queen of Wakanda herself, Angela Bassett. I absolutely love her. For over 3 decades, she has graced cinema, stage, television. She's iconic. Obviously nominated for an Oscar in her work, What's Love Got to Do with It, where she portrayed Lena Horn, where she portrayed Tina Turner. I'm so fixated on Lena Horn because she is iconic. But Angela Bassett is amazing. She's done a lot to bring other Black actors and actresses into the acting space. She is a philanthropist. She is a businesswoman. She has an iconic marriage with another well-known actor, Courtney B. Vance. Together, they are Hollywood royalty. I love her on the screen, off the screen, and I feel like I have grown up with her. We all loved her work. She has many iconic films. Waiting to Exhale was one of them, and that really launched her into a higher stratosphere. And I think that she is worthy of all the accolades that she gets. And she gives me life, as you can see. So I do want to acknowledge all the tremendous work that she is doing and continuing to do. She's slightly older than me, but she looks absolutely fabulous. And I'm just expecting more and more great work from her. Right. So yes, here's to Angela Bassett.
What's love got to do with it, girl? All
yes,
that. Love absolutely. Got to do with all of that right there. Okay. Well,
love her.
I have chosen I have also chosen someone who I think is a legend in the film industry. My selection is Miss Diahann Carroll, ladies and gentlemen. Diahann Carroll, let me for those of you who don't know, now I was born in 1959. And Diahann Carroll, I remember, never underestimate how a child comprehends something. Because in 1962, I remember being in a room, 3 years old, with my mother, watching Diane Carroll when her first, looking at her on our black and white TV, when her first a Tony Award as a Black woman for a play called No Strings. And it was Rodgers and Hammerstein. After if you all are familiar with Rodgers and Hammerstein, they're all on Broadway. After Hammerstein died, Rodgers decided to create this play called No Strings. And, you know, where there was in the 60s where most Black women were being portrayed as maids and all of, you know, different stereotype roles. Diane Carroll got this lead role playing a model. Hence, Alvin King is all up in fashion. And she played a model, and she was going with a Caucasian man. So Rodgers pushed the envelope so hard, but the one thing that they never did, they never said that she was Black. He just said, let your eyes say, you know, whatever. They didn't want to bring a lot of attention on her being an African-American model. I mean, African-American actress, just let her, you know, be seen. But Diane Carroll has always been groundbreaking. And she also won the first Golden Globe for her show, Julia, where she was the first African-American woman to have her own television show. And so she has opened, she started breaking down those doors during those times when most Black actresses wasn't doing that. But, you know, she has gone on to star in other roles, and most notably is the slap on, you know, on Dallas. I mean, what is
Dynasty?
it?
Dominique Devereaux.
Dominique Devereaux on Dynasty. The infamous slap has made her famous forever, and she has continued to remain relevant, you know, through all of her life until the day she died. And so I salute you, Miss Diane Carroll, tonight. So thank you guys for your salute. We have about 2 minutes, and so I can't believe we're already at the end of the show. So
can I say something?
I want to let go ahead.
I just want to thank everybody who has liked our Facebook page. We have grown in numbers in our social media. It's been amazing. If you haven't already liked our page, which is He Said Live, please check it out. There's an article, you know, there's, you know, some words that someone wrote about us that are presented, which we really, really love. And we're going to have more content presented. So please follow us on Facebook Live, on Facebook, and on Instagram at He Said Live. Just had to do a little social media thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. So next week, our topic is going to be the art of happiness. So I hope that you can join us. And before we leave, I want to leave you with the words of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Never, ever ignore a person who cares for you, because someday you'll realize you lost a diamond while you were busy collecting stones.
Word.
Okay. And that concludes our show for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to He Said. Jacques, Vash, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Great show. Really appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a good night and a good weekend.
See you next week, guys. Take care.
Good night.